Let me pull up this video here from Tassie right now. This video is Destiny 2. Yeah, the Shadow and Order delay may be pretty long. I'm gonna go and say this. I think it's gonna be a month and a half. So it's supposed to come out March the 2nd or 3rd. The 3rd. I think it's gonna be mid-April when we actually get it. Actually, I changed my guess here. I think it's gonna be May before we see it. Oh my God, dude. No, we're bringing that therapist on. There's never been more of a time than right now than to have therapy here in the Destiny community. So the reason why we're watching this video, Paul Tassi has had some inside scoops on delay. He's the one that actually broke the news about the delay of Shadow and Order. No, Bungie has not come forward yet, but it does seem extremely likely, as dropping Marathon just a few days after the launch of the new expansion for Destiny just didn't make sense, you know? And so originally I thought that Destiny was going to be dropping Shadow and Order beginning of March, and then that Marathon was going to be dropping at the end of March, but that has been moved, which I guess we never had a confirmation. But regardless, March 5th is the date that Marathon is dropping. So let's take a listen.
All right, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. I am not going to be talking about what I wrote today about how Luke Smith is not returning to Bungie to make Destiny 3. A sort of ridiculous rumor that spiraled out of control yesterday, and there is no evidence and nothing that I've heard that is something that is remotely happening. You know, in an infinite world with infinite possibilities, sure, but there's no indication that Luke Smith is returning in any capacity.
You motherfuckers don't look at me right now, all right? I done told you guys. Look, I even said it. I said a Marathon dev has made their way back to Destiny 2 and was a lead on Vault of Glass. And y'all somehow jumped to fucking Luke Smith as if Luke was working on Marathon.
Instead, I want to talk about something else I heard. I'm not like 100% on this the way I am with some stuff, but it does sort of align with what we've heard elsewhere before this, which is the idea. I previously reported that Shadow and Order is going to be delayed. That was going to launch on March 3rd, where Marathon launches on March 5th. And you can see how Bungie may not want those to overlap if, say, you know, they want some sort of crossover between players, or there's some sort of, you know, technical all hands on deck situation that requires people to pivot away from a recent Destiny update to help out with Marathon, one of those things. I have said that I fully expect this to be announced in the coming roadmap, which is the fabled thing that has not appeared for, what did we start talking about this, like September of last year?
Yes, yeah.
And it has not arrived yet. I expect that to arrive this month sometime, because they're going to have to announce the Shadow and Order delay.
Right.
I don't imagine they would do that without doing it alongside the roadmap. I mean, they might, but that seems odd to me. I have heard that it is probably going to be on the longer end of a delay, as in, you know, Marathon comes out on the 5th. They're not going to launch it on the 7th or 9th or whatever of March. I've heard it's going to be potentially as long as the end of April, or potentially early May, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And that is a lengthy delay from March 3rd. Probably at least 2 months there. This aligns with the sort of recent discovery through these people who can predict, or not predict, I guess find what's going to come to Eververse. That's good. Eververse in the coming weeks. That calendar now extends far. I think it extends 2 months past where it's supposed to. So that sort of raised a lot of flags that, oh, this is going to be a long delay.
Wait, so Eververse items are being delayed? Oh man. Oh, the calendar got extended. Okay. I better say, Eververse never gets delayed. Like, hold on. The guy finds out what Eververse items go up at certain weeks. The season items aren't leaving till late April. I see. Well, let's be real, guys. I mean, it does seem very likely. It seems like Bungie wants everyone's focus to be on Marathon. I don't like it. I want Destiny, but it's just, it doesn't matter what I like. They're obviously probably going to do this. And then I'm also concerned that Shadow and Order is not going to be that dense. Hell, Ash and Iron wasn't that dense. To be quite honest with you, you could run through all of Ash and Iron in 2 weeks. Maybe not even that long. So I'm concerned that Shadow and Order is not going to be that dense. The biggest concern out of all of this is this going to have a cascading effect where it pushes even our annual expansion, or I guess semi-annual expansion. Is it going to push that one past this July drop to August, September, or whatever?
From what I've heard briefly, again, I can't say this with 100% certainty, and I'm not even 100% sure that they know the exact date yet. That could be in flux, but the point being is like it's probably going to be on the longer side than just, delaying it 2 to 3 weeks after Marathon comes out. At that point, I think you're getting away from the idea that you're just trying to get out of Marathon's way with a update I do not imagine is going to even be that big.
Yeah.
And into sort of a larger question about what's going on with Destiny and its current state of expansions and updates. As we know, before this, the idea was to do a smaller expansion launch. 3 months later, a major update. We got that with Ash and Iron. It was not very major at all. And then another 3 months to another small expansion. Then another 3 months to a new mid-season update. And that's where we are now. This is the mid-season update of Renegades. And if this is delayed, by any significant amount, a month, 2 months, potentially more than that, that indicates kind of larger issues here. And it stands to reason that would very much push back the next expansion by at least whatever this delay is going to be. So in that case, what's is Shattered Cycle the next one, or is Alchemist? These are like code names for now. I think it's Shattered Cycle. That would be pushed back further. And at that point, we're getting into early fall almost, somewhere around there.
It defeats the purpose of the packaging of these expansions. The whole reason why Bungie did Edge of Fate and Renegade and these style of expansions is because it's supposed, like all of this, it's supposed to be easier to deliver. But this is a great, like if this is getting pushed back further than just a few weeks, we're talking late April, 1st of May, then this means internally there's some major problems going on with Destiny developments.
Depending, if there's another 3 months after Shadow and Order, after this delay, that's where it pushes it. And then we're assuming that it would be 3 months, but it could be longer than that. And this doesn't seem like a great indicator because this is already supposed to be a scaled back version of the old Destiny schedule, which, as we know, was a big expansion. And then it was 4 seasons a year, one coming alongside the expansion, and then it switched to big expansion and then 3 episodes, which were pretty sizable, for sure. And then now we have this new system. But if the indication here is that even this new system, has issues where they can't hit these deadlines for whatever reason, that really makes me wonder how stretched thin content is going to be from here. I guess I'm wondering if something specific has happened here. I guess Marathon is part of it, but again, I don't think that explains the whole thing. I don't really know of any reason that it would take 5+ months to come out with a roadmap, given that you already announced what the schedule was supposed to be, unless you were sort of dramatically changing it somehow. And this isn't even a full year into the first schedule here in this Edge of Fate era. I think the highlight has been Renegades. I think that is a good expansion. I thought that was really well done. Edge of Fate was okay. Ash and Iron was so bad, I think it made the game lose players. And then we just don't know what Shadow and Order is going to be. I heard some rumors that it's like not really bigger than Ash and Iron. I don't know about that.
I figure it's probably going to be the same size.
Wouldn't be good because once upon a time they were saying this was going to be something that was into the late size as an update.
I don't know. Maybe internally Bungie knows like they can't do another year like this. Now, how that's going to shake things up, I have no idea. But you have to look at the numbers and go, all right, obviously the way we're presenting content and the density of it is just not working. As in, I think that if the numbers were great and everything was just clicking along and everybody was having a good time and Destiny was thriving, I'm sure we would have a roadmap in front of us with the exact same layout that they originally presented to us a year ago. But obviously that's not the case. The question is what can they actually change? You can't just suddenly go, all right, we're going to pull the Forsaken right now. That's not happening. Don't have enough people. The focus is on Marathon. Part of me even wonders, is there a wait and see approach? is Bungie themselves and Sony looking at Marathon and taking a wait and see approach. Let's see how good Marathon does. I don't know. I don't even know like what effects that could have. Like if Marathon blows up, say Marathon is Arc Raiders, which by the way, Arc Raiders has made so much money. I think something I read yesterday was it had broken $500 million and it's on its way on track to reach $1 billion. If Marathon sees that level of success, which I know it's far-fetched, I don't really know what's going to happen with Destiny at that point. The focus could just all be swallowed up by Marathon. At the same time, if Marathon comes out and flops, then hell, now I worry about the studio as a whole. I worry that Bungie is just no longer going to be Bungie anymore. Who knows what's going to happen after that? In some weird ways, I kind of want Marathon to be a success, but not a super success. As you see where I'm coming from? Like I want it to be good enough that, you know, it's its own thing, makes good enough money, keeps the lights on, but not so damn good. Because I am concerned about that if the game is so damn good. And look, this, by the way, I know I'm speaking as like a Destiny player right now. Like obviously, I just want a good game to play. But it would really suck if Destiny just was done. I want Marathon to be just good enough to fund Destiny 3. That's it.
That is clearly not true. So what happens now if they have to push this schedule by months and months when this is already a time where we have the longest kind of dragging gaps between major content? And like, yes, these expansions are bigger than seasons, but you know, I mean, they're not that much bigger than say episodes. I mean, yeah, they are to a certain extent. And there's like,
I would say collectively, we still, even during the year of Final Shape and episodes, we still got more content during that time frame than what we get right now, especially narratively. And so it's an obvious pullback. And we know why there's a pullback, guys. It's very obvious. It's Marathon related. We know why there's a pullback.
More cinematics and stuff for the campaign. But I would say they're closer to episode size than they are to old expansion size. At least to some extent. And then now, especially, we have the situation where there's no real week-to-week content in terms of what's being doled out here. It's you play 95% of the expansion on day one. So that's a change too. And then immediately, you know, within a week or so, it becomes a 6-month gap until anything really significant with the story happens. Because as we know from Ash and Iron, there was some attempt at story components there, but it was more confusing than anything. We'll see what happens with Shadow and Order. It would be nice if there was some big Dredgen Bale thing since he's still kicking and some major update in that regard. But, you know, I don't think Ash and Iron has given us a lot of faith that this is going to be that sizable. It all comes back to needing the roadmap. And I think it's going to cause a lot of consternation among the player base because I don't think it's going to be what people want to see, ideally. I mean, I think already people were skeptical about this current schedule and just a way to sort of, it feels like a way to sort of scale Destiny down. But I mean, we don't even know if they're for sure keeping the last year schedule. Maybe they're like, oh, well, this isn't working for whatever reason. We're going to change to something. I mean, maybe they try to change it back to seasons and a big expansion. That seems unlikely to me because it would require a lot of scaling up rather than the scaling down that we have seen. But if we're going to start pushing, you know, if you're pushing Shadow and Order, that seems more to me about, partially Marathon, but also pushing Shattered Cycle, the next expansion, which I think is Old Chicago. That just seems like the story clues we've gotten. And you know, it's more about pushing that back, I think, than Shadow and Order, because I don't think we believe Shadow and Order is going to be some huge thing, and they need all this extra time to work on it. So it is, you know, across a few reasons, it is looking like it's going to be on the longer side of a delay, which should be announced within, you know, on the roadmap here. It is February 3rd. This was supposed to come out March 3rd. I 100% believe that the roadmap will be here okay, maybe I shouldn't say 100%. I 93% believe the roadmap will be out this month, mainly because they have to announce this delay. I would be very surprised if they don't announce the delay.
And the sooner the better.
And I have really, really big questions if they're pushing even further into not getting this roadmap out. And I know it's kind of a frustrating topic at Bungie with what's been going on there, but it's it's something that I think needs to happen at this point, as really all Destiny players have to do is sort of sit around and twiddle their thumbs and use bow mods, but just not really having any idea where things are going from here. You know, we thought we had a date for Shattered Cycle, and we're like, okay, well, that's, you know, something to look forward to. But now if everything's up in the air, once Shadow, you know, now it's not 4 months away, maybe it's 6 months away, maybe it's 7 months away. We don't know. And that's where a roadmap would be helpful. It will be received poorly if there is a long delay. In a perfect world, they would announce they're doubling down and going back to the old system that was somewhat better, but I very much would not bank on that. So
that's the thing. What if the news that Bungie's going to be giving us about this delay is just bad news? Because normally in the past, Bungie is always, they would go, all right, in one hand, we've got bad news, but in this hand, we have good news. And so you have a moment there where you're like, all right, well, I understand. We get the good with the bad, you know, or in some cases, we get the bad up front, but the good in the long run, right? This could just be all bad news. It could just be like, listen, things are delayed because, well, our focus is elsewhere and we don't really have anything structurally changing over the next year. Pretty much what you experienced this past year is what you're going to experience for the next year. And then the other side of things is, are we in a situation where Shadow and Order, which was supposed to come out in 30 days, is just nowhere near completion? Ash and Iron, correct me if I'm wrong, Ash and Iron, didn't it get its exotic quest got pushed back because it too was not finished? Yeah. So, I mean, it could just literally be, you know, big bulks of the content is just not done. And the other side of things, unfortunately, about Ash and Iron and the Heliostat exotic mission was like, not only was it pushed back, but dare I say it was kind of mid, fellas. Kind of mid. What do I mean? I guess aesthetically, you could say it was a good looking mission, but it wasn't exactly, it wasn't like, oh, this got pushed back because it's a great mission. You know what I'm coming from? It was one step above Vox. Okay, sure. But definitely nowhere near the top 3.
Don't have a firm date for how long Shadow and Order is being delayed, just sort of this estimate. But I do believe we should know this stuff within a month. Hopefully not like right before Marathon. Hopefully in like
not, man.
A week or two, but I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff, Paul. Good stuff. Somebody find me the original roadmap. So again, this was the Year of Prophecy. So last year, so July, Edge of Fate, September, Ash and Iron, Renegades, December, March 3rd, Shadow and Order. But then there was the next year of content, which is essentially supposed to mimic this for the next year. So starting in July again. The whole idea of like cutting up the expansions like this is that it was supposed to be easier for Bungie to hit their dates. You know what I mean? But we saw delays even here in Ash and Iron with the exotic quests. So Renegades made it out when it was supposed to, but Shadow and Order, it could just be a situation here, guys, where it's just nowhere near complete. I would say the sooner Bungie gets out and discloses this, the better. But I think they want to disclose it, that there's a delay, and they want to pair it with some form of good news. I guess the question is what good news is there to tell? I'm asking you guys directly on this. What news would you even want to hear outside of the obvious? If Bungie was to go, here's a roadmap, I'm going to be honest. If you fuckers don't see a D3 on that bitch, I don't think you guys are going to be that happy. Pantheon. So you think Pantheon would be enough? So if Bungie said, hey, listen, Shadow and Order's being delayed, but we're bringing back Pantheon in May or something like that, June, with Shadow and Order. No. Destiny 3 or eat shit. This, by the way, this is what you call a passionate player base. And look, I'm not joking here. This is actually a passionate player base. You know, Bungie, I know this community can be extremely vocal and say some toxic shit here and there, but I think the people just want a D3, man. They want a D3. Now, what if they came out and said, listen, we heard you guys. We're dropping Shadow and Order and Destiny Classic. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. What did they say? What did they say to Destiny Classic? How would we feel about that? That would be fire. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love this. Thank you so much for that. At some point, I guess I need to sit down and like construct what I would want ideally on a roadmap. We create our own unofficial roadmap. I mean, I'm going to say some things that are on the list. Roadmap will include wrapping up everything Maya related, dropping old gen consoles, launching Destiny Classic. You need it. And then all roads leading to D3. Coping so hard? Hey, keep in mind, Marathon is not launching on old gen consoles. They're not. Marathon is launching on only the new gen consoles, plus PC, of course. That list is so bad. What do we want? A red subclass? Huh? Is that where you guys are at? Man, y'all are easy. That's it? That's what you want? Bungie to come out and say, we heard you. We're making a red subclass. That's nice? Of course it is. Of fucking course it is. That's all you guys just want. That's all you want. I hope the red subclass comes out, and I hope it's shit. I hope it's ass. I hope everyone that picks it up dies immediately. I hope it can't carry worth a damn. I hope it pales in comparison to every other subclass in the game. Look, guys, reality is that Shadow and Order is most likely going to be delayed, and it could potentially be delayed by a lot. I personally think the sooner Bungie gets out and tells us, the better. The better. And maybe they're just trying to figure out some way to have some good news alongside the bad news. But Bungie, I would definitely do everything I can to make that good news really good news. Dare I say great news. And there's a lot of things, I guess, that could qualify as great news. But then there's the ultimate great news that I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. And we still have nothing but people running around saying, trust me, bro. D3 is being made right now. And until it comes from Bungie themselves, I don't believe it. The other thing that I would say, though, is a great sign is if we see Bungie going on a hiring spree. And that would be an indicator. If we see Bungie going on a hiring spree and start hiring people, not for Marathon, but for Destiny, that's a good sign. I think Bungie being quiet about stuff is really doing damage in this community right here. My opinion. I mean, guys, where the hell is Iron Banner? I mean, like, are things so bad that Iron Banner is delayed? Is that really? It's not like Iron Banner is bringing a new game mode. It would be like 1 or 2 tiered weapons. How long is considered too long for being quiet? 3 weeks ago. That was too long. 3 weeks ago. Tell me, when was the last significant TWAB you read? Probably last year. I don't think we've read a single significant TWAB this year. We are in February now. And like, I wouldn't even say the TWABs, and even in December, were significant. Most of them were recaps of Renegades. So really, November was the last time we got a truly significant TWAB. DMG saying a roadmap is coming way too early, I think made it worse. No, dude, look, I'm sure. I don't think so. I don't think so, guys. Right now, it's not even about the roadmap. It's about nothing happening in Destiny 2. By this moment, by this time in Destiny, we would have already had Iron Banner twice. We're running through the same content. Even right now. Like right now, we're already back. The rotation is already back to Warden of Nothing. We're running through the same loops over and over. The same cycles over and over. All hands are on the Marathon deck. Bungie. It's a good chance many of us are going to play Marathon. However, the Destiny community would be maybe not happy, but would really like some clarity on what the hell is going on. And in some ways, perhaps maybe, people would be even more excited to jump into Marathon if there was a roadmap or something laid out for the future on what the fuck is going on. And also, what the fuck is going on with Iron Banner? I cannot believe I'm in 2026 and I have gotten down so bad that I'm asking for Iron Banner in Destiny. This is rough, fellas. I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, fuck the new content, just give me the old shit. All right? I'll take the old shit.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.